The search is on to replace the traitor John Souttar as he is about to leave Hearts this transfer window, or so it would seem, and there may also be a search to replace another Hearts player, and that is striker, if you want to call him that, Armand Gnanduillet, although I don't think replacing him will be as difficult. I think you could put a 20p plastic bag up front and it would have just as much effect as Armand Gnanduillet has. But there we go, we know Souttar is leaving the club and it's only a matter of time, it's only a question of when, but it looks like the same could also be said for Armand Gnanduillet, who appears as if his time at Tynecastle is up. So we'll talk about the traitor first, get him over and done with. The new Rangers defender, Sporting Director Joe Savage, was confirming that the club have been looking at possible options to replace him with, but he went on to say, quote, it will be, quote, difficult, unquote, and also quoted Souttar as a top player, so that everyone in the dressing room loves, or should I say loved as in past tense, because I don't know why the whole dressing room would still love a traitor. But yeah, I think we need to get one now. It just has to be done. Souttar's not going to be around next year, next season, and I don't think he's going to be around much longer. Booed last night. It's just not ideal to have him at the club. Why would you want him playing every game when he's just going to get booed every time he touches the ball? I mean, I could care less about him, but it's not good for the team either, you know. It's not good that the fans are booing every time one of our players touches the ball. So that's not what we need. We don't need an unsettled team or unsettled dressing room. In my honest opinion, it would be best if he just, even if it meant we got nothing for him, either let him go or just let him play in the reserves. But I don't think he should play another competitive game for Hearts again. I was listening to the sports scene, and Richard Foster thought so as well. You might say, well, who the fuck was Richard Foster? Well, he used to play for Aberdeen, he used to play for Rangers. He was a mediocre right back, guys. That's how we'll refer Richard Foster, as a mediocre right back. But yeah, he says that it's not good. He says that Souttar will leave in this transfer window, and I am tempted to believe him. I just don't see how Souttar plays for the next 4 months and he's getting booed every single touch of the ball. You know, it just doesn't. I just can't comprehend in a world where that happens. Anyway, some of the players that Hearts have been supposedly looking at to replace Souttar is Jamie McCart from St Johnstone and Stuart Finlay, formerly of Kilmarnock. He was a standout centre-back under Steve Clarke when Kilmarnock finished third in the league. And honestly, man, I would be happy enough with both options. I would really like to get Stuart Finlay back in Scotland and playing for us. I thought he was a really good defender, and obviously he warranted his move down south. But nah, if we can get Finlay, then I'd be absolutely delighted with that. But I wouldn't knock back Jamie McCart either. I think he's a solid defender. You know, I think he was a crucial part of the St Johnstone team that did that heroic cup double last year. So out of those two, Finlay would be my number one choice, but I certainly wouldn't say no to McCart. So if we could get either one of them, I would be happy enough with that. And that pretty much sums up everything I've got to say about the traitor and the traitor's possible replacements. As for Armand Gnanduillet, I mean, the guy's been decent in my Hearts career mode. He scored a couple of goals in Football Manager for me. But let's be real, he's not really lived up to the hype in real life. When we first signed him, I was optimistic because he does look like a big physical player, and you know, sometimes you get lucky with those type of players. I remember we had that Mark de Vries in the early 2000s, and then not to the same level, but I thought Ikepezu was also, you know, a big physical player for us, and I thought he was pretty good. And maybe before Armand Gnanduillet was going to be like similar to those, but he wasn't really, to be fair. And he's not been good for us, guys. He's pretty shit. Let's be real. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. He is garbage. And apart from, you know, Boyce probably the only out and out striker that we really have that's at a, you know, top level, a level that you feel comfortable. Like when you see lineups, I mean, apart if Boyce isn't playing up front, you do begin to panic. I know Woodburn can play up there, and you can put other players that aren't exactly forwards up there, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think we do need another forward, especially with Armand Gnanduillet leaving. And maybe if we have more than 20p, we can look at other options than a plastic bag for the replacement. But I think we're definitely going to need to get a replacement nonetheless. It was French club Le Mans who are actually looking to sign Armand Gnanduillet, and they're in the third tier of the French Football League. So that just kind of shows you what kind of player we're dealing with here. It's not like a lower Division 1 team that are coming in from. It's not even like a high-level Division 2 team. It's a team for Division 3. So that's the kind of level we're dealing with when it comes to Armand Gnanduillet. There was also talk, I believe, of Sheffield United looking at him, and a couple of other Championship clubs. But it appears the French League, even though it is the 3rd division, would be his ultimate destination. And current Hearts player is also at Le Mans, Luc Demore. He's on loan, so another shite player who wasn't any good. So maybe he wants to go and meet up with him. But yeah, Armand Gnanduillet, guys. If he leaves, I can't say I'll be annoyed. It would not be a loss. And if it takes Gnanduillet to leave for us to bring in another striker, then I am absolutely all for it. Because in my opinion, he doesn't have a future at the club. He's not good enough. And I want to end, just before we end this video, speaking of not having a future at the club, just want to say it one more time. John Souttar, just get out. Just leave. If we ain't going to play him in the reserves, just let him go for nothing, because I just don't want him at the club. It makes no sense. We can't be having every single game he touches the ball and, you know, our fans are booing. It's not good. It could unsettle the team. It's not what we need. So, I mean, Rangers, you miserable bastards, you skint fuckers. I mean, just, I don't know, beg the Queen for some money, pay up. Give us the 500 grand and move on. We can all move on and we can all live happily. Then I don't need to make, you know, multiple vids a day like a madman complaining about John Souttar. So Rangers, do the good thing for everybody involved and just pay up the money. Anyway, guys, that is it. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with some more transfer news. Hopefully a signing or two. We were supposed to be looking at some guy from Japan, but I don't know, maybe Big Ange said to him, nah, don't go to them, they're our title rivals, because all the talk of signing that Japanese kid seems to be done and dusted at the moment. But yeah, if anything happens, I will make a video on it, and that's it, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, John Souttar, you're still a traitor. Till then, though, peace.